No matter the size of your company, you need to recognize that cybersecurity needs to be a top priority. Old school method of attacks would go after the government. That is still happening, and then they shifted to commercial. And they went after the really large companies. But the reality today is large companies are being targeted, but they're hard to break into. If you look at a 15 or $20 billion company, they have 20, 30, 40 people working in cybersecurity. They have a budget of $30, $40 million, and they're doing a really good job monitoring it. Can you break in? Yes, but it would take a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. But it's a small to medium-sized companies. Whether you're 5 million, 50 million, 500 million, you probably don't have as much cybersecurity. You don't have as many people, many folks watching it, and that's what they're going after. Attackers are all about getting the most information in the quickest way possible. So you can break into one large company, spending 9 months to get 50 million records, or you can go in and find 5 or 10 million small companies and steal 100 or 200 records from each one of those and attack and grab your information. So it doesn't matter how big or how small you are, we have to start putting proper cybersecurity measures in place. Now the good news is, it doesn't take a lot of work. The focus has to be on simplicity. We have made things so complex right now. But if you go in and you contact me, Dr. Eric Cole at Secure Anchor Consulting, we have proven methods where we can come in and see what you might not see. I know you probably have a cybersecurity team. You might have somebody doing consulting. You might have somebody monitoring your cybersecurity services, but you always want an independent validation. Somebody can come in and see things you're not seeing. I know folks that are brilliant cybersecurity. They're top-notch, but they've been so close to the problem, they don't understand what all the threats are that are happening in different areas and different organizations, and often targeted and hit. I work with companies all around the world, all different shapes and sizes, and I know how attackers think and how attackers operate. I started my career in the 90s as a professional hacker for the CIA, and since then I've continued to understand and think like the adversary. I know how the offense thinks, I know how the offense operates, I monitor and track the dark web. But now I go in and focus all my energy and effort on defensive measures. Because here's the reality. Offense is easy. Defense is hard. Because offense, you only have to find one weakness. Defense, you have to find all of the weaknesses. Now, a lot of people go, but Eric, isn't that impossible? Yes, it's impossible to find everything, but here's the reality. If we shift the tides, instead of focusing on symptoms, what if we focus on the real root cause problems and we fix and protect those? For example, instead of going in and trying to make sure that your entire company is protected and secure, what if we focus in on the critical data? What if we focus in on the critical information? And then if other things potentially get compromised, it's minimized or reduced. So we had clients that were going in and they were constantly having users clicking on links, getting compromised, stealing their critical data. Now, yes, don't click on links is a good policy to have. Email was never intended to send large attachments, embedded links, or things like that. So if you can do that, great. Some companies can't. They run their business on attachments and embedded links, and they just can't go in and do that measure. So now they're playing this game where they're constantly trying to chase after employees. What we did in that case is said, okay, let's recognize the reality. You are going to have emails, users are going to click on links and attachments. If we accept that as a reality, in some cases we can, in some cases we can't, but if that's the reality that you want to operate in, then let's go in and build design solutions around that. So what we did in that case is, very quick and very fast, is we move all of the apps, the cloud-based apps. So now when you go in, and you're opening up, say, Word or Excel or PowerPoint or things like that, it looks and operates the same way, but you're actually running it from a cloud-based service. So you're actually getting a new application and everything's being run over that internet. And the value of that is nothing is stored locally. So now, even if your local system was compromised, has malware running, or you click on a link, because nothing is stored there, nothing really gets infected. So imagine now you go in and I'm running something in memory from a third party and that gets infected, and then I stop working and I go to lunch. It actually goes away. And now when I come back from lunch, I get a new version. So now I've been compromised for maybe 2 hours, but because there's no data or information that's isolated from other systems, we're now secured, protected, and locked down. That compared to where we are today, where if you have a local application, and most people use their laptop or their tablet for 2 to 3 years. So if they get compromised today, they're compromised for the next 2 to 3 years. So every time you load that app for the next 2 to 3 years, you're infected, you're compromised, and your data is stolen. So we go in and change the vector. We change the game so it's in favor of you and not the attacker, and we take away those vectors that the attackers use to make sure that you're protected, secured, and locked out. Now, a common term here in cybersecurity, we love creating new terms called zero trust. We go in and demystify all these keywords for you. You don't have to worry about zero trust or all those other factors. Good, robust security makes you compliant with all those measures. I know you might be a federal contractor or work for the government, and there was regulations based on the previous administration that you have to have a zero trust architecture in place and zero trust verification and validation, which I'm all about good security. But if you do good security, all those other measures apply. So instead of focusing on zero trust, let's focus on proper security, isolating and segmenting out your systems. The whole idea of zero trust is real simple. If one system gets compromised, if one application gets compromised, it shouldn't compromise any other system or any other application. So we're going to go in and design and build your system. So now any potential compromise is controlled, limited, and reduced for a short period of time. And by doing security properly, now we get all the compliance, all the regulation, and zero trust. By doing good security, you get compliance. But by focusing only on compliance, you don't always get good security. Cybersecurity seems very complex, and it is. It's very difficult, and it's very hard. However, if you have an expert who's worked in the field for 30 years, understands the patterns and how things operate, you can actually simplify cybersecurity and focus in on the high priority items and make it much easier than you're making it today. The problem with most companies is we're going in reactive mode. Every time there's an attack, Every time there's something new, we respond, we react, and we're focusing in on the symptoms, not on the root cause problems.